This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, that's on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans. That's all it counts to me. Goodbye and good night.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd. Here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just ready to do a great return episode of One Nation Radio. It's been a few weeks with everything.
Return?
Yeah.
I don't think this is exactly what was UGK's 94 album and the intro was Return?
Super tight.
Yeah. This ain't exactly the intro and Return, but because like you did one last week, so
I did.
You know, it ain't exactly quite that, but. And it's also funny because I'm like, because I guess I'm being that makes you pissy because you light skinned.
That's funny.
Anyway, now I'm thinking about when Floyd told Buddy, he said, "Do you know who UGK is?"
Yeah. Yes. That was great. That was great.
I think that's a prize I've ever had a Floyd in my life. I was like, that's fucking right.
Why? Now I don't know who Oasis is. Do you know who UGK is?
Right.
I love it. Oh,
like, look, man, I like Wonderwall too. It ain't got shit on International Players Anthem or Sipping on Some Syrup. Like, you know, there's a few other ones I could go through. I ain't going through the 88 catalog.
I was gonna say, you gonna leave that one out?
Catalog alone. You know, we don't recognize the 88 catalog. They were saying outrageous shit. Anyway, we back, man. And I saw the show list. You know, you've been doing numbers in Florida speak numbers on the WNBA. So I guess that's where we start, right?
Apparently, James, I'm one of the leading voices in WNBA media now. Who knew?
Yeah, man, emerging star.
It's amazing how this is kind of happened. So. On my personal YouTube channel, just Rich Latta, whatever, you'll see like a purple background. I was like, all right, yeah, I was doing all these reaction videos and different things that drive more traffic to the channel. And then, I stumbled upon reacting to some Indiana Fever highlights or like Caitlin Clark and all that, and started going crazy. Then I was like, all right, I'm gonna just like talk more about it, talk about the news, talk about whatever. And then people were like, yeah, we like how you break this down. We're subscribers going crazy, channel got monetized, all that. Like, and then I just was like, all right, I guess I'm covering women's basketball, and it's up now. So but it's a lot, man. So WNBA Finals last night came to a conclusion.
Man, like, how people say like it wasn't a sprint, it was a crawl. This wasn't even a crawl. This was a roll.
Man, this was I talked about it on the channel as well yesterday, but man, it felt like, to me, this felt like Lakers Celtics in 2010.
That's an insult to that game.
Like,
you know what this felt like to me?
What?
Remember the whole stretch for I guess the last 5 minutes of Game 7 2016 Finals were it was gridlocked at 89 for forever, and then the Warriors actually didn't even score ever again. It was like that for all 40 minutes. I'm sorry, 45 minutes. Sorry. It went overtime. Oh, man.
I kind of found the game, like, you know, pretty compelling, in a strange way.
It was also like, this bad basketball, and the refs letting it go because they don't want to, they don't want to be scrutinized, and ultimately what they end up doing is, like, they're letting people get away with murder while also having a gigantic foul discrepancy, where it's like, how do you let that happen?
Yeah. So the New York Liberty did get the win over the Minnesota Lynx. I had picked the Lynx to win, and I think I was actually kind of right. Had they not been jobbed at the end, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was the end of a long series. These people were probably very nervous, and a lot of these series deciding games kind of go like this. If it's like a game 7, game 5 of these series, is like this game was not a reflection of the entire series. The entire series was filled with great basketball, with like great up and down scoring, fundamentals, like shooting, offense, and it went into the muck last night. But I guess we got to start with Cheryl Reeve kind of going crazy in the press conference, essentially saying this was rigged for money or ratings.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know which.
Full Aisha Curry. Yep.
She was like, we were stolen from, in so many words. Like, I was like, yo, she's trying to get the mother of fines. Just breaking it down, like,
real quick. We will break it down. But you just said mother of fines. What does a WNBA coach make these days?
Brother, I'm sure her salary is public, so we can probably find that.
That's
so chat room, please do your jobs. Cheryl Reeve's salary, please drop.
Let us know the salary so we can give a guesstimation on what that fine's gonna be. Because I remember, I think the biggest fine I can remember for a coach was like the playoffs that year when the MNBA hit Jeff Van Gundy with that huge, like, Yao Ming is being targeted fine. I think it was $100,000.
Look, it was she makes $700,000. So it was my guess was 25.
25?
Yeah, that was my guess.
She might get with 50.
Fully possible.
Yeah.
Fully possible. Like, when you look at Nafisa Collier, got 0 free throw attempts, and all she did was terrorize in the paint. You can see her in the background of my background. She was just spectacular this entire series, and she put Breanna Stewart in jail for a lot of this series, and she really she was like this stone-faced warrior, and I was like in awe watching her. And for me, a lot of people have talked about the refs, and there's no doubt that there was a flop at the end, and I think it was a bad call. I wouldn't have called a foul in that situation, right? And Minnesota likely wins that, right? But when you start looking further into this game, the people that played good were Nafisa Collier and Kayla McBride. The rest of the team did not have anything to show for it in the box score. Like, it was, if they get one more person that's worth a damn on a night where they lock up Breanna Stewart, where Brianna or Sabrina Ionescu shits down her leg, like, oh, I'm sorry, the other person that's an MVP candidate, a former league MVP, all-star, second team all WNBA, she steps up, and then what happens? Niara Sabali just falls out of the sky and decides to come off the bench and score like 14 points.
Phoebe had big moments too at the end.
Yep. So it was like you just got fucked. That's really what it comes down to.
Like, if Courtney Williams does anything, they win.
Anything.
And to be fair, you can say the same thing about, the game is not a close game if Sabrina Ionescu does anything in the game. If
she was so bad this series, aside from that one shot.
She was, it's my background for a reason. She made that shot. Everything else, all ass.
Like, this was not the mom mentality. Like, I don't... like, oh, like I'll give her credit though, like for Game 7 because it takes a lot to go out there and go 1-19 and basically just not quit, essentially, like and sulk and everything like that. She stayed competitive. I think she still had like 8 rebounds or 8 assists, 7 and 8. Essentially on those. During
the Sably run, she actually did. She, offensively, she was finding her nice pocket passes to get Sably the ball. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, Breanna Stewart, I was thoroughly unimpressed with her throughout the series. Like aside from I think maybe one game, and it was
game two, right?
Game 3.
I thought game 2 is when she had like the 21 points.
Game 3, she had 30.
Okay,
like, she had like 30 and 10.
So basically, she had 2 good games and then 3 bad games.
Yeah, and featuring several chokes, and like last night, it was like
Game 4. Look, it never goes to Game 5 because one thing about her is like she's still making defensive plays. Like that block she has on the who is the backup point guard with the braids?
Heidemann.
Yeah, she put her in jail for one of those possessions or two of those possessions, right? But like. The end of Game 4, Jonquel throws up something, and you see Breanna run for offensive glass immediately, right? And just put it back up. Goes to the line, clanks him. I was like, even the stuff where it's like she ain't giving up on effort. It's just not going. It just ain't going. Not happening. Like, and that was the crazy thing about watching the Liberty win this is like. They're 2 all NBA or all WNBA players completely melted down. Like I think they were 5 or 34, something like that.
Yeah, 2 of their 3. Yeah, they were like 5 of 34.
Yeah, I forgot Jonquel. I'm sorry. Well, yeah. They're 2 Olympians. Sorry, that's a better way to put it. Yeah. So it was just man. And
when she missed those free throws again, like she had multiple free throw line
free throws. Yep.
Multiple free throw line meltdowns in the series, and then like
Game 1 happened. Yep,
she actually got a second chance to redeem herself, and then like I was relieved for her because it's like you don't ever want nobody to like wear no shit like that because that's like that could shake you the rest of your career, like failing in that moment or whatever. But I saw this and I felt like the Lynx were so outgunned, kind of it just talent wise, like they were a really hard trying team that maxed out essentially and I feel like this is really one that got away for them. Like if you lay it on paper, the New York Liberty have been the best team in the league all year. They probably should have won 9 times out of 10. They'll probably win this series, but this was the 10th time where it was like they played them well and they got them and then the refs took it away. And Cheryl Reeve was not pleased. We do have a question from Dan Coffin. He said,
okay.
Do you think the reffing was exceptionally bad this season, or has it always been subpar and it is just more visible with the explosion of linear eyeballs now watching the games?
Oh, that's got to be the case. Like that, and that is the case when it comes to all of this. When you watch, if you're a person that only watches pro sports, you're watching the top pro sports. And you're watching a set of refs, you get into your bag of saying like this person or this crew or this group field of refs are incompetent or whatever your jokes are, right? But it's always without fail the lower you go as far as the level of whatever the play is, it's also the case with the refs. So like you can watch the NFL all weekend and be like, these refs are incompetent. And then you can watch Saturday night between Georgia and Texas when they had that fiasco where they call a terrible pass interference call, lined it up to reflect that they moved the chains to reflect that it was new down and distance to reflect the first down given for defensive pass interference. Then had Texas fans throw bottles on the field, didn't call them for a penalty. They were probably afraid they were going to get, the old school, mugging that refs used to get back in the early 1900s. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they say they reviewed it. and they change your mind. How do you review and change your mind when you set the damn the first down again? How did that happen? Oh, you're lying? Oh, yeah. So yeah, it's always the lower you go, it gets worse. And like, I mean, the SEC ain't even the worst set of officials in college football. You got the Pac-12 and the ACC still. So yeah, they don't. It's always gets worse. It's how it is. It's how it is. And
there were games.
College basketball reffing is so much worse than NBA reffing. So much worse.
There were games like I don't know if you remember the Fever and Sun game 2. Like Caitlin was getting clobbered to no calls, like taken out the air. They were landing under her when she was shooting threes to no calls. Like this has been a constantly complained about thing.
Yes, it's a big point of frustration even for someone that's been watching men's pro ball, and then you're dropped into having to adjust. Part is like, oh, they treat this shit like it's the NBA in the 90s.
Like they ain't calling shit. Get your ass up.
Yeah,
all that. Like,
two people can hit the deck and they'll let that shit slide. And if that happened in the NBA, and when that happens in the NBA, you hear the crowd just let out that like what the hell's happening? Like a tragedy has ensued. So yeah. It's totally different.
But I want to talk about Nafisa Collier again. Like, there's an argument that she could have been a Finals MVP.
That's my argument.
It just don't tend to work that way. But
yeah, we have to do the thing where like Jerry West will be the only person that will ever be the loser on a Finals MVP. He's like, she was the best player in the series. Knock it off. She was.
Yeah, man.
Like for all the stuff of Jonquel Jones, her numbers being similar, like. Nafisa Collier was an absolute menace defensively, and Jones is a great defender too, but there were times where she was getting picked on left in switches or whatever else by like McBride or even Collier. Like there was a possession where I point out to you where it's like they ended with Jonquel on Collier, and it was like, all right, well then have Collier set the screen for McBride because. You know, like when they went really big with Sabally and Brianna and Jones, like McBride was doing whatever she wanted to Sabally defensively for a stretch. So it was like, all right, now have Nafisa go set the screen and try to get a switch. So you have a mismatch somewhere in foot speed, and instead they brought two people into it, and like somehow. Nafisa was able to roll and then still get behind Brianna after Brianna was able to switch back on. And I was like, in the NBA, we would talk about how that's just bad offense. That's just bad, not thinking the process through it. But luckily, Nafisa's so damn cold, she made it work anyway.
Yeah, just like when you talk about like people that walk into arenas and nothing phases them, and I imagine they scare the bejesus out of the crowd. She's on that list, like, and it was. Why
she finished second MVP voting. There's a reason why she ended up, winning Defensive Player of the Year and then putting Brianna in hell for 5 games.
Like. And basically, like, she went against this entire front line of the Liberty. She's 6'1". Like, she's given up, like, 3 inches in, like, everywhere she looks, essentially. So,
she's
like...
a stretch 4.
Yeah. Like... who else? Kayla McBride was awesome all throughout the series, too. Yeah. Soulless, as I call her. Like, there's no expression on her face at all. It will just bust your ass and kill you. Plays a very aesthetically pleasing game as well. Kirby was talking about her all night.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
And that might have been Kirby's first WNBA game of the year.
Right.
In its entirety.
But yeah, man, like, for what it means for the Liberty got their first franchise, championship ever. Won it at home. And, I couldn't imagine that many of these things bothered you, like as far as the reffing, the stars shitting the bed. You're just happy, to win the title and all that. But they have been the best team all year. They've owned the league, and they kind of have set the blueprint in, I don't know, maybe like 4 years or whatever to take them from where they came to where they are now. Like it kind of started with the drafting of Betnijah Laney Hamilton and Sabrina Ionescu. And then from there, like the new ownership changed. They got him out of Westchester, brought him to Brooklyn facilities, and then started, signing, putting money into the team. So it's going to be interesting to see if other ownership groups follow up. It's also going to be interesting in light of the collective bargaining agreement, the players opting out, and they have 1 year now to negotiate a new one. Next season is not in jeopardy. That will play as normal. But after that, they got to figure something out. But there are so many factors other than, hey, the players should just make more money, because that's where I normally land. But it's like, I think so much is like tied up in this, where it's almost like, I would love to give you more money, but where is it coming from? Like,
I mean, I think it's just the idea of the same thing that happened in the NBA, where like they had to lock out in, they had to. It wasn't a lockout. It was it was a lockout. It wasn't player strike. It was a lockout in 2012, and then all of a sudden that got done, and then next thing you know, there's new TV deals. And they exploded the money. And then this next batch is going to explode the money again. And like they just got their new TV deal, which is an explosion of income. So they're seeing the NBA and these salaries and like, all right, well, how are ours going to reflect that? And also like the valuations or the value of these teams now. These teams have had to have jumped in value, and also given expansion rights that also should influx cash. So like, they have a reason to say we want to, and tickets and attendance going up because of this rookie class, headlined by Caitlin Clark. So like, yeah, I see why they're like, hey man, like something ain't right. We need to look at these books for real. So, and also it's also nice bit of business by them by like, yeah, we're gonna start this other league on the side.
We see it coming.
So like our most powerful players in this union or whatever else, they'll have their income supplement, so they can, they won't be out here ready to just bend over and let labor kill them. So
yeah. Like there's a lot of different factors going into it. They're including like other investors like Pau Gasol, Baron Davis, Claire Wu-Tsai, couple other people on that list. I believe JML actually sent me a list. There was like, they did an investment of like $75 million. The NBA is putting their portion in as well. And then it's like, the players then get what's left of that, assuming like on the comeback essentially. But it's almost like you got to pay the investors off first. So it could get really messy. I'm still learning about it, but
same.
Yeah, like so, like I can't like tell you, but like I did not like the players dropping that essentially a rollout, because we know how public perception works on this stuff, and they're probably going to think about them anyway.
The whole nation is a group full of workers, but yet they hate working factions. It's labor. It's the most ridiculous thing. Except for police. That's it.
Yeah.
Except for police.
Yeah, because like I saw that and I was just like, I don't know if this is the tone. Like, because I feel like if you're the WNBA, you want to try to like rally the public on your side as much as possible, because you are a league that has struggled with popularity, with likability, and I guess they figure like they ain't never gonna love us anyway.
Yeah,
so
there's a big part of that is like they're not gonna like this black lesbian league. They're just not. So we got to push forward and do what's right for us anyway.
Yeah, so that's the only other side of it, but
also known as motherfuckers never loved us.
yes. If you're Caitlin Clark, man, you have came into this league and like now a lockout might be on the other side of this, and it's all like
there's always some shit
based on your value essentially. And
it's a lot of it's tied to her value, and I was saying this to you earlier, like. She gonna have to be at the forefront of this shit. Otherwise, they gonna look at her in that locker or in them locker rooms and that whole sorority like this motherfucker's Hogan. Like we was ready to do something or whatever else, and she lamed out. Like she gonna have to get her ass to the front.
Yeah,
she's gonna have to. Otherwise, it's gonna be a rough social life in that league.
I'm trying to remember.
Also,
like
she need to do it because you're like, hey. I need to get this money. I want my cut.
Yeah. So they are trying to recruit her to Unrivaled now. I don't know how that's going to go, but supposedly they're going to put the full court press on her to get her in that. I don't know. We'll see if she shows up there. But it was a interesting kind of break of news here. But I had a lot of fun talking about the WNBA all this year. I kind of found like a new lane and all that. So if you're interested in more like WNBA talk, at least for me, go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe on there. I'm putting up videos all the time, breaking down the news as I see it, reacting to shit, cutting through a lot of the bullshit because, like, I don't know, I guess what made me feel like I was qualified to start talking about this was like, I love basketball. I have enjoyed the women's game in some form or another since I was a small child. Right. When I had to go to my older sister's high school practices. She was a point guard starter for 4 years, at high school. And I was at every basketball practice with her, all her games. So like from then I just kind of knew I was a fan as, the WNBA got started when I was a child, watched it up until, I don't know, maybe like 2004 kind of consistently. And then I just kind of kept tabs on it from afar, but fell out of it after a while. And the league struggled a lot. And then I started, seeing the way they were playing in college last year. And I was like, yo, I'm just going to keep watching. I think something's there. And I saw so many good players this year that I'm interested in like being fans of and learning more about and covering. And it was like, I think, and not only because like, from my own personal, like, what I'm getting out of it as far as like, YouTube is starting to do well for me. I think the players deserve it and they deserve people, someone to cover them in a fair way and not a way that is like, taking out their problems with women on them and like their political, issues with them. Like, there's a lot of voices in the women's basketball coverage space, especially on something like YouTube, where it's like, you can go and listen to essentially like, I don't even want to give them light, but y'all know the loud motherfuckers with wrestling podcasts that are often very wrong. Like there's that. And then there's, right, other people that are doing good work. So I want to be one of those people that does good work or whatever and still entertains and, never know where that might take me. Like the door's already opening. So, but yeah. I'm going right into covering women's college basketball after this and following it. So there's a huge USC UConn game. I'm sure we're gonna talk about on this show. Yeah. There's plenty of and so much. I think if people give the women's game a chance, you will really like it. Like, and you might like it more than the men's game, because if there's one thing I noticed, it was like a lot of the subtle complaints that I had about like the NBA and stuff like that. I load
management, the end of games dragging to an absolute halt because there has to be 59 goddamn commercial breaks. Like, it's a lot like when you were watching the Olympics, where it's like, what? Remember how fun basketball used to be when there weren't like a million commercial breaks in crunch time?
Yes. And then the people caring about the All-Star game, people like playing both sides of the floor like hard, and like the finals being ultra competitive still. Like, I watched
allowing people to be physical.
Yeah. Like I watched a lot of the NBA this past season, and ironically the NBA is about to start on Tuesday. Right. And I just felt myself like not loving it as much. Like, and it was like, I've loved basketball my whole life. Like, and I love the players, and I love the league. And then it's just like, why is these things just going this way? And I found a safe haven in the WNBA kind of.
Yeah, I mean, it's refreshing to watch compared to, what we've seen out of the NBA in the last, I don't know, let's say over the changes in the decade.
Yeah.
It's just been, or let's be real, like pretty much since like 2016.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, like they care less and less about the All-Star game. They care less and less about everything. You gotta pay them more and more money, and the players care less. And I don't want to get on the players, but it's like at some point, like we got to care about something besides the playoffs,
right?
And it's like once you get to your second your second deal now, like the guy, like once you get past like year 4, like guys kind of just like, whatever. Like the effort, it just seems like the effort is not there on a night-to-night basis. Like when it's like you could, like I watched LeBron James more than any other basketball player I've ever seen, and like when he was in Miami, like that's the first time I ever like decided. That's the first time I came across like saying, "Hey, I'm gonna get a stream to watch League Pass stuff," and to watch like those Heat teams play. It is like that's the first time I ever like followed consistently, and to see like that compared to like you throw on a League Pass game, unless it's something that you're really into, you could just be like bored out. You might like watching them Spurs games beginning of the year when letting them dudes didn't know how to play women. I was like really frustrated. It's like, you are pro basketball players. What the fuck is going on? So I don't know if you've seen any of the preseason stuff like with Chris Paul and him.
That looks like that's going to be very beneficial.
Chris is going to be top 10 in assists again. Just throwing lobs up to that nigga.
He's gonna have a real easy time.
Yeah,
with Wembanyama. And
right.
Quite frankly, year 20. Look, I've never been Chris Paul's biggest fan, but I say he deserves a nice and easy year. We're working with Wembanyama like this. I'm interested to see what he does.
Yeah. So, I mean, you talk about NBA and like this is the constant like dumb stuff you see. Like they're doing the media's for TNT, like Turner, they're doing like these player rank things and like,
oh my god,
they're doing and like Shaq's doing a video saying like just for the attention. Yeah, I ranked Wembanyama 31st because I want to motivate him to play.
He don't need your
how dumb you sound. He don't care about you, man.
He needs your motivation. Like
he's like, yes, I'm
NBA this year.
I am going to rank a person I know is one of the 20 best basketball players in the world already 31st because he didn't make the playoffs as a rookie. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Shaq make the playoffs as a rookie, or did he did he make it his second year when Penny Hardaway came in?
Second year.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Victor Wembanyama's about to be.
Does is well, they were mean to me, so I'm a just generational trauma. Get over it.
Yeah, man. And then my Lakers this year. Oh my God, has just been a real clown show on several levels, and we're gonna have
clown show outside the Bronny stuff.
I think the Bronny stuff is very bad. And I think JJ Redick potentially is a bomb that could go off, right? I do think that.
Media's gonna get in his ass during a bad stretch. Because he's not going. It don't seem like he's gonna handle that well if they get into a bad stretch.
And I just don't know how the Lakers really got better. So it's gonna be, we're gonna see how hard they want to go throughout the season. And
also, didn't D'Angelo get paid?
I don't know if he got paid per se. But at least you got Quincy Oliveri. Yeah, we might not even have him because we got Bronny. So I am interested in seeing what what Dalton Connect does.
Yeah.
I think he could be interesting.
Go ahead and say your joke. Go ahead and say the joke you've been telling me over the week. So you told me over the weekend about Connect.
Shit. It was like him and Austin Reeves, they carrying it on,
Oh, I was gonna say Clutch finna trade him in trade.
No, I was like he better be careful though. That man playing a little too good. When you start playing a little too good, when you on a team with a Clutch Sports roster, your ass might be on the trading block, especially if you not signed the Clutch. So, you think LeBron's gonna catch that man in a dark room with Rich Paul and be like, "Hey, you want to get down or lay down? Are you signed the Clutch or no? We get you traded right now, huh?
Is Austin Reed signed the Clutch?
I do not believe he is, but his agent, remember we were like, how did his agent should be fired because of the awful deal they got him?
Yeah, that's right. They gave him a hometown discount. I was like, why? He should have been out there playing with Wembanyama. That's what should have happened last year. Yeah, man.
He is represented by Aaron Riley of AMR Agency.
Okay. I don't even know what that is, but it's not it's not CAA, it's not Clutch. So
right.
That's another thing about it is like, do you see the thing with DiVincenzo?
Yeah, barking at the Knicks sideline.
Barking at the Knicks sideline, barking at Tibbs already. It's a preseason game.
Hey, I like it. Like, I love it.
The thing that's funny for me is kind of like, people that are Kobe Lakers fans or whatever else, like they bemoan like the Clutch thing or whatever else. Is like,
I do.
Do you not realize what happened in New York with Leon Rose and Jalen Brunson's dad? Like CAA took over the Knicks.
I know that.
No, I'm not talking about you. You know that. I'm talking about like the general Kobe, like, don't like LeBron being the Laker tenure thing. Those people, they like, this is an abomination. This is Clutch Sports grip, having his grips on to. And I'm like, look around. Like, CAA got the Knicks, and then Rock Nation was trying to get the Nets.
Rock Nation had the Nets before.
Right. So it's like, this is happening.
Bro, I remember when,
like, Clutch Sports did it better than the other two.
Bro,
So
I remember when we started talking about that, I was like, these is teams inside the teams. Like, they are wearing jerseys underneath the jerseys. Like, remember how Michael Jordan used to wear the North Carolina shorts underneath the Bulls shorts? That's what the fuck is going on here. I was like, people just look at it as the Lakers. No, it's like, not just the Lakers.
Right. It's like,
that's why I want my team back.
We're gonna try and get Kevin Durant and oh, they're not coming here. I guess we just gotta draft. I guess we gotta trade for your son or sign him in free agency then. Oh, it worked out. Okay, let's try to put him with his other 3 NBA teammates that he played college ball with. Oh, we got a chance to get an actual all NBA player. Get one of them out there. Oh, there's a problem. The team might be fractured because the guys that played college ball wanted to play together. It's like, what is happening?
We gonna get the real story on all that shit.
That team's gonna be good too. I honestly think I think they have a more than a puncher's chance to win the East.
They're right there.
Like, they're the second best team in the East to me.
Like, they have so much, like, aside from like Jalen Brunson, who is a bigger man than most people think. Like, he just seems short for whatever reason, but it might be because he's left-handed. I think they have so much size at every position on the wing,
right?
On the interior, and say what you want about Karl Anthony Towns. I looked at his numbers, bro. He's gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like,
if he ever wins, probably
like, it's gonna be like, like, I think there's like a good chance they can cause some problems, but if they don't nick it up, they can cause some problems.
Like, bro, like you mentioned that, right? Towns is a perfect 5 in this era for playoff basketball. Then you're out there with like, they can throw OG Anunoby at the like OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mikal Bridges.
Strongest man alive at 6'4", right. Josh Hart.
Right. Like, they are going to cost, like, they're going to be so good, like, they could potentially be so good defensively and be versatile defensively. Like, obviously, you're going to have some problems with Brunson because at the point of attack, but, like, just, they have the wing depth to throw at guys. Like, they're going to it's not going to be easy for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So,
it's going to be interesting if we get a Bucks-Knicks series. Ooh, I want to see that. Because it's going to be like, all right.
I would like to say that, too, because,
all right,
bro,
all right, Dame. Like, hey, are you old now, or what's going on here?
There's that, and also like Giannis might average 40 and 20 in that series while they lose.
I was gonna say they're gonna have like 7 niggas to throw at Giannis, so like they're gonna be in rotation out there.
They're gonna have to be.
Who's getting cooked next?
Because that's not a good matchup for Towns trying to guard Giannis. It's not. Like, because he can't, like, he's a good defender until until the whistle blows and he gets in foul trouble, and he put him in foul trouble so quick. So yeah, like, that's a good series I wasn't even thinking about. But yeah, like, I just like the Knicks. It was like last year I was like, they have no chance. It's a joke or whatever else. Like, I was like, no, like, Tom was on my ass like, what you mean? And Tom was like, look, man, I know you got a little taste of help, but like, they're not the real contenders. It is what it is. And they got blown out in game 7.
See, this isn't like, I don't like this. I don't like that the Knicks actually have legit expectations. I want the Knicks to be like the 4 seed or the 3 seed where it's just like they are all the way bought in, but the rest of us is like, all right, I see it around the corner, and I see that bus coming that's about to knock their ass the fuck out.
Oh,
but
man.
that's the Knicks that I like or whatever. But I think they're a little better than that.
Well, yeah, you're right. I agree. I think they're the team that should have legitimate like expectations to get to these conference finals, and like they ain't had that since the World Trade Center was still around. The towers are still up. So it's a big deal. There's a big reason to be excited as a Knicks fan. Like, I mean, they just had the sister squad win the first basketball title for the city in 50 years. Or 49 years, whatever it was. So yeah, man.
The last time that they won the championship in New York, Frank Lucas was selling Blue Magic, James.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we did that. I think we talked about that before. We were talking about we were talking about somebody, we got on the Knicks ass, and you pointed out, like, you pulled up the wiki as far as things happening. You were like, you know what happened a couple weeks after the Knicks won that title in 73? Watergate. That shit had me dying.
Well, you know what happened a couple months before that? Ali Frazier. Some shit. But yeah, man. So I was on the show alone last week, talked about a lot of stuff. But I thought they were pertinent topics to kind of let James drop in his thoughts on. We've got basically the retirement of Hiroshi Tanahashi was announced. We also had, the Triple H situation at WWE Bad Blood, and the fallout from Wrestle Dream. So wherever you want to take it, it's on you.
Okay, I'm gonna go in chronological order. So I'm gonna go to because Bad Blood was first, right?
I think so.
All right, so Bad Blood. Look, man, the opener was the best match on that show, easily. I don't know I think you gave it 4 stars, right?
Yeah.
I gave it 4.5. I love that fucking match. I was, after breaking my foot off and CM Punk's ass after that SummerSlam match, that got clipped up, I was like, okay, this is the match. This is so much better than what they did before. They're even doing the part where even the character say, hey, we're having Drew McIntyre introduce the friendship bracelet shit, right? And CM Punk just gonna say, I'm throwing that shit down your throat and kicking your teeth out. Awesome. Love the match. And I'm not gonna pretend like that SummerSlam match didn't happen. It damn sure happened. But I think that they course corrected and they end up getting a positive blow off on that. Also, for a person that was talking about real glass and all that kind of shit, he split Drew McIntyre's shit.
Yeah.
16 staples, 14 staples, something like that?
Bro, they bust to the white meat.
Yeah. Also, when I saw that picture of Drew McIntyre's forehead with them staples, I was like, hey, man, take your time off.
The safe business.
No, what I'm saying, take your time off while you go to Turkey, because I don't think people realize he's about a year or 2 away from people realizing he's getting thin up there. So you need to go handle that now. Go handle that before everyone talk about a fall off. It's I'm going ahead and,
ahead of time.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, man, that show was ass. That show was horrible.
Yeah.
That show was horrible. And
how dare they show up there? It's 30 minutes away from me and do that show. How dare they?
That's right. That was the Atlanta show. So I guess I ain't got much else to say about the rest of the show matches. The main event, that was slow. A slow Samoan main event tag match. You seen one, you seen them all. Even down to the someone's gonna run interference. Someone's gonna come out. They're gonna have a random Samoan show up and then do a move. You know exactly who the fuck it is or whatever else before it even happens. And they turn around from the camera. That happened. So yeah. I'll give them this. I did like the Damian Priest in Finn Balor match. I did like that. But everything else after that main event stunk. So yeah, you got that. Biggest topic of discussion after that show, in the general speak of that I saw going around was the press conference with Triple H. How Triple H, given that they were in Atlanta, it's Metro booming. They're showing rappers left and right. They got Naomi and Jade and Bianca being the host for no other reason than like, hey, there ain't no black people wrestling. Just saying, let's get them out there to not wrestle, but just get them on screen. It was just like, okay, there's clearly something going on. So Triple H, they asked him about that, rightfully so, and Triple H says, I don't look at color, I look at talent. And then it made me think, like, then a bunch of people had, of course, pointed out, like, hey, your top champion right now was the guy that was, when he was AEW, pointing out that, hey, I had a conversation with my black wife, and my black wife, when I said to her, I don't see color, said, if you don't see color, then you don't see me. Now, we're talking about Brandy Rose who said this. Brandy Rose is exactly a revolutionary thinker on race relations in America. Neither is Cody Rhodes. So for everyone pointing it out. Now, and that's a great point. I'm leaving Brandy and I'm leaving Cody.
That was like the answer for dummies almost. Like she gave them like the get out of jail free card. Like Cody got tons of positive attention off of that. And it was like,
now,
all right.
Right. Now keep in mind, it ain't like, look, I think one of our best, one of our most viewed segments is me breaking my foot off in Cody's ass for like 10 minutes going on a rant about that shit he did about post-racial Atlanta in AEW. Go to the YouTube stream for that, right? Now, putting Cody and Brandy aside, leaving them alone. Back to Triple H, him saying that he does not see color. I'm sorry, didn't you not use a bunch of Mexican wrestlers on WrestleMania and then proceeded to promote these on the LED, the Modelo Agua Frescas? I'm sorry. How do you know to match the Modelo Agua Frescas with the Mexicans if you don't see color? You only see talent. No one pointed this out. I had this in the back pocket for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, whenever the fuck this happened. But like, no one brought this up. I bought the Agua Frescas because of the WrestleMania scene. Rey Mysterio promoting the Agua Frescas.
Clip that.
So, you full of shit. We already knew you full of shit, but it's like, you can't eat. That's easy to be like, hey, bro. And obviously, you can look at Rich's background. He got The Rock and he got Triple H dressed as the Croc in blackface to show that he clearly does see color. I mean, you can say maybe he changed his mind to go to a more neutral way of doing this. White people fall over themselves all the time doing this. They always do. They think that if they treat people all the same, or that's what their thought process is, they treat people all the same or whatever else, or don't think of people's color, that then you will treat everyone fair. And I gotta say, you doing that like leaves out the context of the history of the country and the disadvantages that people are born into. So while thinking that is a good thing, you are also like perpetuating the cycle that it still exists.
And it's like, I made the point last week where it was like, you have to see the differences in people, because either just his job as a booker, that means he can't recognize, special things about people. He can't recognize people's different qualities, like that may have something. Like, if you don't see color, it's like, all right, man, I see who y'all send to the Breakfast Club. I see y'all sending Big E there. Y'all didn't send Seth Rollins to the Breakfast Club. Like, y'all didn't send Cody Rhodes. Like, thank God they didn't do this.
I'm sure.
Y'all didn't send Walter. Look, y'all didn't send Walter to the Breakfast Club. Like,
right. You pointed this out. Like, they did a little jokey joke today on Raw where Carlito, like, in reference to seeing Io Sky and Kyrie, said, I need to learn, because of how hot they are, he needs to learn some Chinese. He was talking about, of course, 2 Japanese women. Like, you okay? How did they get through if you don't recognize any of this stuff? Right? Like, that is it's just bullshit. It's the easy way to not acknowledge like the differences in people. And if you acknowledge people's differences, like you will be able to
treat
attract
them better.
Like if you acknowledge people's differences, and you were able to acknowledge, hey, we got black wrestlers, we got Mexican wrestlers, we got Japanese wrestlers, we got wrestlers from Austria. Like if you're able to make all of them stars, like you could somehow be able, through representation, be able to attract a larger audience. I thought the point of this was to draw, right? Like I don't think the Triple H guy that became a star in a career-long rivalry with The Rock thought that The Rock wasn't one of a kind because of, in part, his blackness. Hence the backdrop that you got Rich and him in blackface. So yeah, it was bullshit. So I mean, AEW, move on to AEW. Yeah, man. We talked about this leading, from All In all the way up to now. This Bryan Danielson having the AEW World Championship should have happened 2 years ago. Should have happened a year ago. At this point that happened, while the matches were great, it was clearly a top-down mandate that this guy will be the champion before he retires. And we will make it a championship retirement tour. And that was exactly what happened. And at the top of the company, aside from when the bell rang, it kind of lowered what was happening at the hottest parts of the company. I don't mind Moxley being the champion again, outside the part where it's like, well, given what Swerve was doing, if this was always going to be the outcome, then why don't you just have Swerve have Moxley beat Swerve? That would have been more compelling. That's a fresher matchup.
And you still have the Seattle thing.
Yeah. The idea of it's tragic that he loses like that, that's Danielson being a sicko. I'm fine with that. Whatever.
Yeah, I didn't care about that at all.
It's just, for me, it's like, I'm still concerned about Moxley, and like, are we at the point now where like he's not gonna try his best unless he's unless he's the ace? And if that's the case, is that a good thing for AEW in general? The time will tell on that, but like this year is not like the other years in AEW for him. And this was the year where he was not the focus. Up until when he came back. So, we'll see where it goes. There's definitely some compelling stuff. There's definitely some long form stuff going on. But I think like right now, we're at a point where like, aside from Ospreay, aside from I guess officially Swerve at this point, there are no top babyface that I buy as like this. They're going to rule or come, save the day. And I think you pointed out like all the champions are heels now.
Yeah,
all the champions are heels now. Rich, when was the last time there was a successful or a very good or very well ran wrestling brand or promotion that decided to say we're gonna have all heel champions and then wheels fall off? Wouldn't that be NXT? While facing the Wednesday Night Wars versus AEW in 2019?
They actually did this in AEW in 2021.
How long?
I want to say it was Kenny Omega, it was Miro, the Bucks. So it was at least like a couple months with this because each of those guys had like substantial time.
Okay, who were the women's champions? Or
I think Britt had just won it.
Okay,
because they just had went back on the road.
Okay,
so like there was that, but like. That's also when the company was like hotter than the sun. They had just gone back on the road.
Right.
Kenny versus Hangman storyline, CM Punk coming in the company.
Right.
Bryan Danielson showing up. Like, and then, the whole summer before that.
And then Britt is like, at that point in time, and she basically she's a face that's still at works heel.
Right.
Yeah.
So like now it's like I expressed a lot of concerns between when I did an appearance on the Trish and Sarah wrestling podcast last week. If y'all didn't hear it, please check it out. We talked about like, it's like, all right, just having confidence in the follow through on a lot of the baby faces. And I went on impassioned rant about Hangman Page where I was just befuddled on what has happened with that. And then
losing to Jay White.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't get it. And I think there are things in place. I just can't be sure that they are going to be followed up on in satisfying ways, because a lot of these baby faces have already been beat down and beat down and beat down, and it's like
and slotted. More importantly, slotted in a way that I don't think they can out kick that ceiling that has been kind of placed on them.
And it's almost like, damn, all y'all are doing the same storyline. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's like, if everyone has to take some massive ass whoopings just for months and months before they come back and beat the same person, it's like, bro, we need some baby faces whooping ass. You need goodwill for this promotion. You need things that will make people feel good. Artistically, I understand the choice with the Moxley thing and everything like that, but like, there was like a huge dark cloud around that. I thought it was ambitious or whatever. Just like also, the dark ending they did at All Out with Hangman and Swerve or whatever. But like, that felt to me different than the reception to this angle. And that might have to do with Danielson and people wanting to see him go out in a happy way or whatever. You don't always get what you want.
Tears in his eyes, walking out, waving to the crowd. That sort of thing. Like, look, I get it. It's supposed to be a tragedy, but I'm also like, the point of watching a soap opera and dealing with heat like that is the payoff. And like the payoff, what is the payoff? Like the baby face and the baby faces that watched him get choked out were Daniel Garcia and Darby Allin and Private Party.
Orange Cassidy
as well. I mean, Darby seemed like he was set to be because especially given what happened at Grand Slam, like the story should be that Darby gets it, but it's like, is Darby going to get it? Also, I saw Orange Cassidy in Moxley last year.
Yep.
Like, is he going to it's going to be him taking down the conglomeration? Okay, cool. I'm sorry, with the conglomeration taking down like this Yuta faction, okay, I can see that, but like it seems like AEW has so many wrestlers, and like they have said that like we are going to build up like these guys that are, none of them are actually top stars. Like if Will Ospreay was out there, especially given what happened with the Tiger Driver earlier in the year, I would feel better about it. Right? Because it's like, okay, that dude's obviously could be a world champion, whatever else.
Right. It's almost like I see everybody that they're showing, and I'm like, none of those guys are the answer.
Yeah.
Why are you lying to me?
But the thing, right, another part about it is like they couldn't do Ospreay because Ospreay got screwed with the Takeshita thing and Callis and Fletcher. So it's like they couldn't
he's elsewhere.
So he's been pulled off, but like that would have been a perfect person to put there with the rest of the babyface locker room that's looking after Danielson. They're going to get their lick back for Danielson. He would have perfect person. It would have, or maybe not perfect, but it would have. You would have been assured that like somebody's finna get the get back. Maybe Darby is, and I don't mind it if he is, because obviously he's been working with Moxley ever since September. But I keep believing they're going to do. I feel like I'm at a point now where like, all right, man, either let him kick. Are they gonna let Charlie Brown kick the football or not with him?
Yeah.
And then with Garcia is like, I think that's above his pay grade.
It's
even though he just got paid.
I want to say he's like set to get this big push. It seems like, and it's like I feel like we're at the beginning of his journey, if anything.
Yeah. And that's going to diverge him towards MJF again eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I like some of the directions. I just don't. I need more proof of concept to buy it that they're going to follow through on some of that stuff because of where those wrestlers have been slotted in their tenures in AEW. That's all. Like we can come back in 6 months and be like, oh, we were wrong as fuck on that one. Because like obviously all those guys are over. I mean, look, Orange Cassidy's been over enough to be champion at this point before. Same for Darby. Garcia should have been TNT champion by now. Just ain't happened. Private Party could have gotten a tag title run by now. Just ain't happened. But when they go out there and, they're doing the beatdown or they're doing the fight, the new improved BCC, and they got Action Andretti coming out here trying to do the fucking Osprey thing, and then Moxley lays him out like a fucking geek with that big elbow. It's like, all right.
That don't help.
They're real. They're not. Also, you expect me to believe one of these niggas finna beat Claudio? Big Swiss? They don't get it back in blood with Big Swiss. All right, sure. Again. The strongest man in the wrestling. Okay, sure. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. With like what I've missed so far over the last 2-3 weeks.
Tanahashi,
I mean, he can still go in certain spots, but it's probably for the best. Cause look, the last Okada match in New Beginning, that was like 4 1/4. In the right, he still got a bullet in the chamber. He only got one. He can pull out every couple months, but like, yeah, I get it. This is probably better than like he only comes out and does once every 6 months sort of thing. He only does Dominion and he's in trios and that kind of stuff. So it's fine. I'm just gonna miss him.
Yeah, I said a lot about him last week, so pull that back up if you want to hear it again. Black Sabre Jr., who's going to be the women's babyface to go against Marina? I do not think Marina will be wrestling in this role.
We'll see. But I'm with you. I'm not sure. What were your thoughts on them just turning Statlander back babyface out of nowhere?
I feel like whatever happened there has nothing to do with the idea to do something with somebody on screen, and this was some type of backstage call that you cannot explain on television under any logical circumstance. Yeah,
like the only way it would make sense.
Well, they did a video package with her on Collision a week and a half ago. It was like, well done, people said, but the first time it happened, they did not explain it. They waited a week and then told you.
I mean, look, they can always go back to when Mercedes first showed up. Like Stokely looked at Mercedes like he saw a dollar walk in the room. They can absolutely go back to that, but they only did that one time, and they never touched back on like he wants to be a star fucker. That never happened. They never followed up on that. Now, if they do it, we're like, they did this. Stokely was on Twitter doing a thing where like Statlander sent her invoice like she was Drake invoicing Pusha T for Pusha T, punched him in his fucking throat. If they want to do that, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, I'm managing, I'm helping. Look, Mercedes needs some help with some managing in some talking segments. So I wouldn't mind seeing Stokely do that.
Camille not the answer.
Camille is not the answer because Camille talks is a she does less for the act than Mercedes by herself did.
So did you happen to see Dynamite last week, James?
No. I have not watched no wrestling in the last 3 weeks. So go ahead and spoil it, and I'm here for the ride. Go ahead, let's do it.
All right.
Also, I want to give, for those that don't know, during Hurricane Helene, I was up with Rich in Atlanta, and Rich's anniversary dinner was the same day as the pay-per-view. And I told Rich, hey man, I think the day before I said, Rich, hey man, you want me out of here? And he was like, nah, you can stay. And I was like, you sure? I ain't trying to cause no strife. I will probably pack my shit up and get the fuck out of here. He's like, nah, you good. So they go to dinner and they come back. And like, I went to JJ's. JJ's is a fish spot from Chicago that's only in like Chicago and Atlanta. Food great. It's great. Right? I come back and Rich is watching the pay-per-view on his phone. And Rich, this is thinking about Rich, right? Rich knows I hate spoilers, but forgets that I hate spoilers. So Rich, I'm thinking like, all right, I ain't gonna watch it. I'm just gonna watch it tomorrow. Rich watches shit like, hey man, this shit happened. I'm like, I ain't gonna get mad at him. I can't get mad at him. He gonna kick me out. You kick me out. I gotta eat it. So that's why I haven't watched anything yet, because I'm just like, I gotta watch this pay-per-view before I get to anything else. So yeah, shout out to Rich.
That's funny. But yeah, so Dynamite last week, it was like, up and down show. Like there was
I heard
stuff that I saw, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
It kicked into gear in like the second hour, I think. Right from what I think Sarah pointed that out on Twitter.
Yeah. So Moxley basically called out the entire company. He said he hated it, and everyone in it is working for him. It was like a pre-tape. And basically, they showed him pulling off from Wrestle Dream. He was sitting in the back of a pickup truck, cutting his promo, and then the pickup truck was moving. So, he basically said that he basically, a bunch of big winding Moxley statements, essentially about being the champion. If you've heard them, they're usually pretty good.
Okay.
But we had Adam Cole then reemerge, and it was like it was from another fucking universe. Like he starts calling out MJF and cutting a promo on him, and Cole's the babyface, and it's like, nigga, the last time we seen you were the heel.
You were literally the devil.
I was gonna say the last time we saw you before that, you were the devil. Like the devil, but so they do the 17 minutes of talking, and I'm just like, brother, can we wrap this up? Like the Dave Chappelle, guy in the Dave Chappelle show, wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. It felt like such a tone change, and Cole basically just does his promo. He's like, he's fake. And it's just like, great. We know, nigga. Like I don't tell us something we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Cole. So MJF answers him on a pre-programmed video. So it's like he cut this whole promo for a video to play, and then whatever.
Let me guess. Did he leave out a list of demands?
No, he didn't do that one yet. But Cole basically challenged MJF to a fight. MJF turned him down, and all that stuff. So it was like. Like I saw it was just such a disconnect from because like I thought this show had it was like one of the most anticipated shows for AEW with the outcome of Wrestle Dream. Right. All these heels are the champion. We want to see all the new storylines and everything like that.
And this year they've been really good on the Dynamite immediately following a pay-per-view.
So like
a new direction.
So when they come out, I'm like, oh, MJF got the first quarter, huh? And then also like they're still trying to wrap this up. I promise y'all, if y'all pretended these two niggas didn't know each other no more, nobody would complain. I don't know who's asking for this except the people that like don't really like AEW but are WWE fans that want to see MJF and Adam Cole because like they appeal to them. The rest of us are just like, we're okay, man. Y'all almost shipwrecked this promotion last year. We don't need any more of this. But after that, what came next here?
Hopefully a match.
Yeah. It was more of like just kind of bullshit. Kind of actually.
Really? After a 17-minute talking or promo segment, there wasn't a match after that?
No, then we got Private Party backstage, and then they were calling for a rematch with the Young Bucks, and it was like, well, why should you get a rematch? Y'all just lost or whatever, and then
did they lose clean?
Yes, and the Bucks were just like, y'all ain't getting no next shot or whatever, holla. And
they lose dirty because that's how they were booked. They were booked to lose,
right? And then
like, I'm trying to make a joke. It's like they're the EVP, so they say we're going up tonight, like
yeah.
And we're supposed to know, like, the Young Bucks didn't follow the script, some shit like that. Like, I don't know. You tell me.
But it was just like, all right. And then we got a match between. Oh, we also got Chris Jericho. He was interviewed backstage after Wrestle Dream. Said he wants a rematch with Mark Briscoe for the ROH World Title because Mark cheated, and there's going to be a ladder war, which is going to air this week. So. Mark Briscoe,
they're scheduling things weeks in advance now.
They have done that. The entire Dynamite card is out. I believe Collision matches have been advertised in advance, a couple weeks in advance as well. So it's like, oh, they want to sell tickets again. That's nice.
Rich,
so from there, yeah,
Rich, go ahead. If they bring back them rankings, I Jimmy Jacobs, boy, you gonna get it on the week that happens on this podcast. You gonna get it.
We got a match with FTR against Big Bill and Brian Keith. Went about 9 minutes. It was fine. Wasn't like some crazy, match or anything.
Gotcha.
Then the Outrunners came out. So when I saw the Outrunners come out, I was like, why?
Oh, the mean wrestlers.
Yeah. So they're
have you seen the skit they did with FTR?
Yes, it's hilarious.
It's fucking hilarious. It's
the
funniest thing that FTR has done in AEW, in my opinion. It's fucking hilarious. So look, I don't hate them. I don't hate them. It was fucking hilarious.
They're fucking hilarious. Like, they're hilarious. Yeah. I like them, but it's like, as Brewhaven is mentioning, people were mad that LFI beat them on Collision, led by Brian Alvarez. So, look, man, I don't know, but from there, the Acclaim and Billy Gunn got interviewed about their win against MXM, and then after Gunn left, MVP walked in with Shelton Benjamin. Shelton Benjamin, by the way, looking in better shape than I've seen him since WrestleMania 25. And then he told the Acclaim to call them when they want to get serious. Gave him a business card.
Okay.
Bowens turned him down while Max Caster did keep the card. So maybe something might be happening here. Who knows? Then we got Mercedes Moné and Queen Aminata. This was a nice match here. They had good chemistry to begin this, and I thought that I would love to see another match from them.
Same.
And it was like, yeah, this is like, if you want to wrestle Mercedes, this is how you do it. I was like, can Aminata break the non-Joshi curse with Mercedes? I thought she did. Some people don't, but
so also, like, the way that she has performed throughout this year with Mariah, on ROH with I forgot her name, the Minion in training, yeah, actually, no, it wasn't with me training. It was a good thing. It was with Athena. Like, yeah, man, like, she is somebody similar to, Willow, where it's like, this person gets opportunities and they show and prove. And I would like to see them get their shot eventually, as a player in that division.
Yeah. So actually, the Private Party and Bucks thing was next. Okay. But then we got a pre-tape with the Elite. They said, Jack Perry was there, Okada was there, the Bucks were there. They said it's a interesting day, a special day in the history of AEW. It's Kenny Omega's birthday. They have a birthday cake for him, and then it was like, happy birthday, Kenny Omega on that. And then Jack Perry dumps like 20 feet of intestines on it, onto the cake, and then Okada looks in the camera and says, happy birthday, bitch. And then Perry told Kenny to get well soon or die because he doesn't care. It was a waste of some damn good looking cake too. So
I thought you were gonna make some joke about chitlins. I was like, no, brother, no.
That's what it looked like. It looked like he dumped chitlins on that shit, and I was like, all right, man, this is disgusting. And like that shit must have stank too.
I would like. I mean, they are stank. My question is, who told them where they could find that red box with the white top?
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, no, there's a brand of chitlins there's a red box with a white top now, and I know that because my grandmother, whenever she would cook chitlins, it would come in that shit. Now I know at that point in time, that's not the Sunday you want to be over at your grandma's house, James.
I have been fortunate in my life to never have to eat chitlins. So
they're not bad, but the smell before they're prepared.
I've always heard about that.
Rich, you might be shocked to know this. They smell like shit.
After that, we got a conglomeration, Cassidy, O'Reilly, and Rocky Romero versus the Elite of the Bucks and Okada. And this thing was good for about 9 minutes until like DQ, because at this point the John Moxley and the BCC interrupted the match, ran in and started wreaking havoc. This was like the top of the hour, so like I see this and I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, and I was just like, I was like, DQs. I was like, what the fuck? So this actually got kind of interesting. So like, basically they came out there and started whooping ass. Essentially, Pac has a briefcase that presumably has the belt in it. Claudio's out there, Moxley, Wheeler Yuta.
I was gonna say, is that a wink at the crowd?
I guess
They presumably got the belts in the bag. It's like, is that a wink at the crowd?
Yeah. So Yuta and Shafir essentially clear out the ring. The Elite like get out the ring, and then they're standing like they're like, this ain't got shit to do with us. So they're standing.
And there's also when Moxley first came back, which should have tipped people off, when like he was going to face Danielson at All Out, and Moxley comes in and he's like, you know what? I always liked the kid, in front of the Young Bucks, and it's like Moxley, BCC, and the Young Bucks, and the Elite, like they've had old school smoke in AEW for years, and like they're in the middle of terrorizing Danielson. That was your clue then. So yeah. So
they had they basically like decided to kind of take a couple steps up the stage. Then like you get Top Flight running out. Action Andretti tried to run out. They got killed. The Dark Order came out there, got ass whooped. Alex Reynolds got choked out by Marina. Yuta and Claudio, they hit Reynolds with the steel steps to the ribs. Moxley basically said, if you're involved with AEW, you're under attack. Then after that, more wrestlers came out essentially, and the Elite had like this look on their face like, hey man, like what is all this? Like they was like, oh God, there's it's right there in the back of my joint right here. So it's the Bucks and Okada looking at the damage that the group was doing, like, hey man, what the fuck's going on? Like,
do you think they're gonna try to? Do you think they're gonna try to turn the Elite babyface off of this because like the BC they're too far gone?
And
they can't control them.
There is something I want to talk about. Something else that happens first, and then like I'll answer that.
Okay.
So, they had to, their own takeover angle earlier this year that got kind of squished out for whatever reason. They've got this one now, so it does like make you question, like, all right, what does the Elite think about this? And I think they're going to draw that out, kind of.
Okay.
So the Elite are walking backstage when they come back, and Daniel Garcia like walks up on them like pissed in private party, and then he's like, "Hey man, like what the fuck? Like you ain't see Moxley and them acting up out there? Like what is y'all doing here? Like all y'all just being complacent? Like y'all don't give a fuck about this place? Like this is the AEW y'all wanted to create? Blah blah blah." And like it was really good, like what Garcia was doing.
Okay.
And then the Elite really didn't answer them, and then Nick Jackson was like, in due time. And then they walked away. And then from there, like Garcia and Private Party kind of like look at each other, and then they form a unit. So Daniel Garcia and Private Party are officially a unit now. It's like, hey, I'll watch y'all back. Y'all watch my back. It's war out here essentially. Then
when Twitter comes to pro wrestling.
Yes. I mean, I seem to recall, a young tag team forming around like a great singles wrestler, and that shit, being quite beneficial at one time or another. But they got to give Garcia a do-rag. He got to put it on. A silky, they selling do-rags in 2K on My Player now for 12,000 VC. Yes, they selling do-rags.
The monetization of video games is just...
They want your virtual player to practice his waves, essentially. Yeah. Like, that's insane. I saw that and I was like, I can't believe this. So we got...
How much you spend?
I didn't buy one. I was like, nah.
It would have been hilarious to be like, yeah, man, I'll put one on them. Oh, like that'd been hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, man, like, go continue. Sorry.
Yeah, then we got Shelton Benjamin versus Leo Rush.
Okay.
And this was fantastic.
I'm going to have to go turn it on then and watch it.
Leo Rush made Shelton Benjamin look like $1,000,000. Shelton Benjamin was
he like
awesome.
A monster? Was he powerhousing around? Or
Bro,
how was it?
He was powerhousing him around. He was like reversing his shit with like bunch of creative things. Leo was like flying around him. And it was like this. I was like, bro, if Leo Rush would just give 3 years of his life to pro wrestling uninterrupted, it would be like so beneficial for us all, and him included. Shelton Benjamin like looked awesome in a way that I had never really envisioned for Shelton, but like he's in the best shape I probably ever seen him in, and he's ready. He's got his working boots on.
Compared to like the 2000s,
bro. Like as far as like him being 49 years old, he looks fantastic.
Okay.
Like and like. I think in the 2000s, he looked more like an athletic guy, so he was just in naturally good shape.
Right.
Now he's like a bigger kind of like athlete or whatever,
Okay.
but it's like, oh, I can see what kind of engine essentially he's running on. Like, and it's like, I think he's like ready to go essentially. And I think he, it in a way, it kind of reminded me of like Adam Copeland coming in, hitting the road and being like, I'm ready to work.
Okay.
Like, and that's encouraging because they booked a match with him and Swerve for 2 weeks from now, and he's got Sammy Guevara this week on Dynamite. So
and led to Guevara discourse about like Jericho apparently never did anything for him. And it's like he made him into someone you cared about, and now he's on ROH. Now that he's not with Jericho, what do you think the lesson is?
Be with Jericho.
He was supposed to feud with Jericho, and then it got nixed because he got himself in trouble, and then he came off suspension. Now he's in ROH. What is the lesson? People cared about him because he was Jericho's bump guy. He's a really good wrestler, and then when he's not around Jericho, things fall off the track.
It seems like there's nobody there to advocate for him. So like Dave Meltzer like had a fucking meltdown about Shelton Benjamin beating coming in and them booking the Sammy and him match, compared it to Val Venus coming in beating Christopher Daniels in TNA.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I guess that was a big thing at the time. Like Val Venus was basically far past like his usefulness as far as like hello ladies and all that stuff.
No, I get that. I didn't watch TNA, so I can't really give you Christopher Daniels was one of the best wrestlers of the 2000s.
Yes,
right?
And so, you know, like the TNA original, all that stuff.
Right. So I'm trying to, and he had placements on the card and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm trying to figure, like, he was a marquee talent at different points. You know, obviously the Sanjay Dutt stuff, all that. So I'm trying to figure out, like, how in the world would that make Sammy Guevara the Christopher Daniels of AEW in comparison? Christopher Daniels way higher up the totem pole in TNA than Guevara ever been in AEW. Especially post Jericho, like we just talked about 2 minutes ago. What?
Yeah, he had a meltdown. I'm not going to get
to the part where, like, Val Venus compared to Shelton Benjamin is fucking laughable. How about the part where the guy you're advocating for isn't as big of a deal in his promotion as Daniels was to TNA? I don't get it.
Yeah, I guess it's just the perception of guys coming in from WWE and beating your guys, but like, you know, in this case, like, I think Shelton has something to offer. And
losing to Swerve.
I was going to say, Joe Lanza was making this point about Shelton and, you know, by extension, the Hurt Business. Like, these aren't guys that were fired and rejected and stuff like that. This is a group that a lot of fans felt had more to offer. And these guys are coming in motivated and ready to contribute and work. Like, and I don't think Dave is conscious of that. He just sees it as, I've been covering pro wrestling for 50 years. I know what this looks like.
I mean, but he does have a point as we talked about, like, you know, the potential Christian Cage thing is going on.
Yeah. You know, but I think potentially, like, you got to almost let every individual case be judged on their own merits. Could this be a situation where it's like, all right, we've seen different guys in the company come in and then not want to do business and stuff like that. Everything that, you know, all indications are like, that's not going to be an issue here. So like, I'm sorry, man. Like, Sammy Guevara will have to put over Shelton Benjamin. Like, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Especially while he's in Ring of Honor.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Like, and then, you know, it seems like there's a lot of like steps, like, and there's careful thought being put into what Shelton Benjamin's doing. So
yeah,
let's hold it down. And especially after the debut match, I'm very encouraged, like, by his work in the ring. So like,
so did Mel say anything about how good the quality of the match, or no?
He was more talking about Guevara. So like, he didn't really
okay. But no, I'm saying, like, did he ever point out, like, oh yeah, this was a good match, and then I guess in another instance, I guess it was maybe announced later. This turns to a separate discussion.
I'm not aware if both of those discussions happened at the same time, but like,
you know, what I'm saying is, like, if he went out there and just was average or whatever else, then I'd be like, okay, I see why he went there. But like, if he had a killer match, and like, yeah, let's tell him to go out there and beat Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara's not going to have trouble surviving this because he survived all the other losses.
Right.
This ain't the final nail in the coffin for him. He'll lose again. I guarantee it.
Yeah. So we had a Don Callis family press conference, and brother,
I bet this was nasty.
Brother, pound for pound, wrestler for wrestler, the Don Callis family might be one of the greatest wrestling factions of all time. Like, they had basically, now Brian Cage has joined the Don Callis family. Lance Archer is there because he was traded for Roosh, essentially. And you got Konosuke Takeshita, now the international champion, and now you have Kyle Fletcher, who came out here. He did one of those. Is
Hobbs still there, but just injured?
Hobbs still injured. Yep. So, they basically, like, you know, said Cage and Archer are going to go after the tag belts. Takeshita and Ricochet seem to have something popping, and Fletcher essentially has Ospreay circled. And Takeshita said he's going to defend the belt all over the world. He's defended against Josh Alexander and the Speedball Mike Bailey this weekend.
Maple Leaf.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fletcher said he wouldn't say why he did what he did to Will at Wrestle Dream, but he got a good reaction, and he looks like an asshole, bro. Like, their feud's gonna be fucking awesome.
I mean,
I already know it. Like, it's gonna be incredible.
The hair he's had has always screamed, or like in the last years, always screamed like, if he turns to a shithead heel, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, like, I'm digging what's going to happen there.
Okay.
Don said Don Callis family has never been stronger, blah blah blah. So like, and they set up a podium in the ring, and it was pretty funny how they did it. Big heat for them. So
of course.
Then we got a Mariah May interview. So everybody's afraid of her. Anna Jay showed up and confronted her. They ended up having a eliminator match that Anna Jay won on Battle of the Belts, and she got a title match for 2 weeks at Collision.
So you mean to tell me on Battle of the Belts there was a non-title match?
Yes. You got it.
That seems like a mistake.
Clerical error.
Yeah.
So from there, we got Ricochet getting an interview backstage. He said he wasn't pinned in the triple threat match, so nobody whooped his ass.
Right.
He hasn't been beaten since he joined AEW. Challenged Takeshita to show up on Collision, so Ricochet can prove he's out of this world. So they have a feud pending. And then we got the BCC, the new BCC, beating down Dark Order and Top Flight. They were brawling backstage. Then they took off in a truck. The Moxley group, Evil Uno cut a great promo because when he yells in the camera backstage, he's awesome. Challenged the BCC to a fight. Dante Martin challenged the BCC to a fight on Collision. They had a 6-man tag on Collision. BCC won. And from there, we had Christian Cage and Jay White, and I paid no attention to this match because I had no interest in either of these wrestlers until the very end. Hangman Page came out, gave White a buckshot lariat, and then Hangman did the same thing Christian did, where he laid down on the outside of the ring or whatever.
Okay.
But Jay White and Christian, not a match I'd be interested in, and I think that was the same night as game. Was
that 3 or 4?
It might have been game 3.
Okay.
Of the WNBA Finals. So I was like, my focus is on the TV over here. But yeah, there was one other thing, James, that I didn't get your thoughts on that we missed over the break and the hurricane stuff and the AEW TV deal, James. I talked about it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So we've been waiting.
Did you do the receipt thing?
I did not go through all my receipts publicly on air. I didn't do that, but I laid it down for the various grifters, lames, and suckers that they were categorically wrong.
Yep.
Have no concept of the wrestling business in 2024.
Yep.
Should stop lying to the people.
Yep.
People should stop believing them or fighting on that lie.
Yep.
Whichever one they want to pick.
Yeah. Yeah, man. A lot of this shit should put a lot of the bullshit on Twitter to bed. It won't, but it should. Like, will it take the next TV deal after this? Will it take whatever potentially is happening with AEW and Fox for it to finally shut up? Yeah, man. Once they got their second TV deal, not the one that got Dynamite on TNT in 2019. Once they got I think I called it the Kevin Durant deal because it was 4 years for $70 million. Or sorry, it was 4 years, 140. So basically, making like what Kevin Durant was making, right, as a max NBA player. It was like this is a great deal, and their next deal is going to be bigger than that. Well, it was multiple times bigger than that.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Essentially half of Billy.
Tony Khan is the second most successful wrestling promoter of all time. Unequivocally. Not Baba, not Inoki, not Triple H. It's him.
Not Sam Mushnick.
Nope.
Not what's his name? Not Bill Watts.
Not Bill Watts.
Not Eric Bischoff.
Yeah.
Not the Road Warriors.
Yeah. Right.
Not Ric Flair.
Yeah. Not Eddie Graham. No.
Not Ernie Ladd.
Nope.
Who else? Not Jim Cornette.
Paul Bosch. Not Jim Cornette.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. Not Rossi Ogawa. Not
Paul Heyman.
Not Shihiro Takagi. No. Not
Gato.
Nope. No. It's him.
Not Vince Russo.
Nope. Not. Yeah, he's second most successful.
Not Kevin Sullivan.
Right, he's the second most successful promoter in the history of this 100+ year Carney biz.
Not Jerry Jarrett.
Nope, not him either. Yeah,
not Fritz Von Erich.
Not Vern Gagne. Vern Gagne. I'm sorry. Nope.
Not Otto Vance.
Nope.
Not Big Daddy.
Not Stu Hart.
Not Stu Hart. That was a good one.
Not the Guerrero family. Nope.
Not Motoko Baba.
Nope.
Not Paco Alonso. Not Paco Alonso. Nope.
This man point out this.
Not Conan.
Oh no, not.
Trying to think who else.
Look, we can continue this for another 2 minutes, right? But the point remains, right? Like,
not Jess McMahon. Like,
do we mention Inoki yet?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure I remember. Make sure we didn't do that. Yeah, man.
Rest in peace. Not Kerry Silkin.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like,
not Gabe Sapolsky.
Oof. Yeah.
Not Dave Kapoor.
All right. So, look, man. It is what it is. They have put together some of the better pro wrestling, American pro wrestling television ever. over the
Not
over
Jim
these 5
Crockett?
years. Yeah, no, yeah. Yep. No Jim Crockett Jr. No. So yeah, man, like it is what it is. This is where we are. And Roy Shire. Did we mention Roy Shire yet?
We did not. Not Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking of who ran Portland. I can't remember who ran Portland.
Yeah, it's
Let me leave that
not
shit
coming
alone.
to me.
Let me stop. Yeah, but my point is like, yeah, like just financially, it's over. Like this is now it was already something that like was all but sustainable. Now it is. This is something that's sustainable, and like this is going to be something that lasts for. It's going to go a decade at least now, right? And
Not Dax Axe, the Tampa Bay Pro.
Oh my god.
That was just for Jeremy and Josh.
Oh my god. So
Not Court Bauer.
no, I'm going for you. Not Jeremy Donovan. Running that GUW.
GUW. That's great.
He'd be like, why did I catch a stray? Sorry, Jeremy. You don't deserve it, but you on the list. You on the list. You promoted. You promoted.
Not Brett Lauderdale.
Did you mention Heyman yet?
Yes.
Okay. I had to say, how the hell did you not mention Heyman?
Not Ty Gordon.
Oh, man. All right. So, this is sustainable. It's going to be around.
This bit is amazing.
It's going to have a decade. And it's going to have years to come after this. And like it's gonna continue to be around, and like this is for major American pro wrestling. This is the best thing that's happened to pro wrestling in over 20 years since the closing of WCW, and it's better because like now we're at a point now where like we got two major promotions, and like they're generally competent at this point, right? Like I think a lot of people's claiming of like AEW and WWE not being as interesting in a way is because like it's less interesting because of like the discourse around it is not actually is more nitpicky than ever. Like we just talked about our directions of what we don't like as far as whatever else, but we absolutely can't say they don't have a clear table set. Right? We may not like it, but like that's us being nitpicky because we're nitpicky about pro wrestling. But as far as, but they absolutely have laid the groundwork for whatever they're doing to do with BCC and that younger group of baby faces. We were just talking about what we would have preferred more because, you know, we're miserable, or I'll say I'm miserable. But, WWE, like going forward with Cody, doing the bloodline thing, clearly set up for whatever's happening with Rock. What's going on with AEW? Like these, like I think the general talk around pro wrestling is less interesting because like we don't have any crash course shit going on or crash TV going on like we did 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Where it's like, oh my god, this man had John Moxley come out had Dean Ambrose come out to the ring, and after Roman Reigns just told us that he's going away to go handle his blood cancer, he just broke up the Shield again. We don't have stupid shit like that anymore. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like I just think that I'm happy we're past this point. And the more and more people try to, you know, pretend that like the sky isn't blue, I think the more people are gonna have to like have some type of like.
This is a mental illness, James.
Yeah,
a lot of this shit is like
it's full on Pizzagate type shit. It's full on conspiratorial shit at this point. Like when I saw someone say that like is Shad Khan paying TNT or Turner to pay AEW? I was like, that's not how any of this works. These are publicly traded companies. They'll be thrown under the jail for falsifying documents like that. Everyone.
like the commission somewhere would see this.
Right. Like they would have had niggas like rappelling from like through the roofs on ropes to kick that shit in. Then they did that. Forget kicking in the door. They coming through the damn tile ceilings. What are you talking about, man?
Oh man. One other thing we didn't get to. It was on the list, but we didn't talk about it. But WWE, or excuse me, not WWE. They didn't announce this. Samantha Irvin announced that she would be departing WWE. Wrote a super long notes message. Turned the replies off. All that shit.
I didn't know she turned replies off,
and people lost their minds.
What are some of the worst ones you saw?
Oh man, there was one of a guy that used like a Dom Mysterio picture, and he said to Samantha Irvin, "Have fun announcing half a crowd at AEW. Have fun with 633,000 viewers weekly. Have fun being irreverent now. This should be tampering if you do go to AEW. Well, everyone says that only if that. So everyone only says that if talent goes to WWE, you had it all in WWE. Fuck you." This is what they also use, and there was like several other.
Do they realize that like these wrestlers like are all friends of each other and don't give a fuck? Because it's a job. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe that you left Tampa General to go to Baycare. You asshole.
Look, man.
By the way, those are the two major medical systems in the Tampa Bay area. For those that don't know, sorry about that.
Jane, I don't know why they have no problem being gooners for Rhea Ripley. They have no problem being gooners for Liv Morgan. Do they just not want to say they think a black woman looks good in public? Like, why do we have to act like it's like, all right, she did her job to a base level of competence. I think everyone can agree at minimum, right? Whether she annoyed you with, her antics or even her Twitter activity, that's separate kind of from this discussion.
Uh-huh.
But like your hardcore WWE fan is acting like, like it was just like, yeah, man, like just one of the worst things in the company history has happened today. And I'm like, why do y'all feel this way? Like, if y'all think she looked good, y'all can say it.
Right.
It's okay.
And I don't know, man. Like, Tanya messaged us in a 3-person group chat about this. And I said to Tanya, like, hey, I've known Rich since 2005, and since 2005 he's known this about me. Like, someone that looks like Samantha Irvin is right up James Boyd's alley. Right? Like, I like a nice long coil. I do. Right? And at some point I was like, look, man, as I've grown, I've learned that some of that stuff is, is tied to colorism, is tied to a problematic brand of femininity as far as hair length or whatever else. So I'm, I recognize some of the errors of my ways when I was younger. I think she's very attractive. I don't care where she ends up. Like, she's a ring announcer. Like, Justin Roberts, Lillian Garcia, it's just, they're all good at their jobs. It's a replacement level job. Like, be enthusiastic, have some presence, don't fuck up the lines. You're good. That's the standard. That's the baseline. I think pretty much everyone that I've ever heard, on major American Pro Wrestling has been good at the job.
Y'all ain't act like this when Brandy Rose left.
Oh, I had a joke about Brandy Rose with that. I was like, I'm not even gonna say it because as I said earlier in the show, we're gonna leave Cody and Brandy alone after we point it. Yeah, I'm leaving that alone. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say it. So we'll move on about it. But fuck it. Sorry. I was saying she's gone. She need a spot in WWE at this point. They desperately need another black person to throw on screen to not wrestle. Like, Brandy could go back and be a ring announcer. And it
Easily.
and they can play on the heartstrings during Cody's matches where she has to call her husband getting whooped on. It'd be very similar to when Rachel Uno is calling a show the Umino match.
Who is now getting turned on, apparently.
Yeah, so if that's what they want to do, call up Brandy. Because when I first heard of Brandy Rose, that's what she was doing.
Yeah.
She was the first. To my knowledge,
Amazing.
in WWE, the first black ring announcer, for female ring announcer that I ever heard of. So, you know, go ahead and pull out Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, I don't think we topping that.
I ought to really say after we did this, imagine how funny this show would have been had we done this on Sunday and I wasn't back on the diet. I would open these bad boys up. I would open up the Agua Frescas again. But
I got good news. I got my yellow belt today.
Okay.
So that was pretty fun. Worked very hard for it last couple months, and we on to get the orange, the Kobashi.
It was this weekend?
Before the show. I got it today.
Oh, okay. Congrats, man.
Yep. So the marathon continues, so to say. So now I got to start learning these forms, essentially, as they call them. So that's gonna be fun. Gonna go on the back porch like I'm Mr. Miyagi and start working together and doing the memorization stuff for it. So that's gonna be pretty cool. So yeah.
All right. So I don't have. You want to plug the Chop Tees?
Yeah, Chop-Tees at Social Suplex or Chop-Tees / Social Suplex, and check out all the merch on there for all the shows on the network. I was listening to Tunnel Talk, and they had a great idea, like of doing ad reads for everyone else's shows. I did not come with one prepared this week, but next week I will pick a random show on the network, and I will write I will actually pre-record a 20-second ad to play, and try to make it as hilarious as I can. And next week, I ordered my Halloween costume. It will be arriving Saturday. I will be showing up in full costume for One Nation Radio next week. James, you got a week. Figure something out.
I mean, it ain't nothing to cut the sleeves off a turtleneck. Oh man, everything's funny because I've never dressed up for Halloween for any of these Halloween episodes. I'm like, Rich is, no, that wasn't during the show. Well, we never did a Halloween episode when you were still working at Publix. But like, remember when you went to Publix that one day dressed as Prince? And I could tell you was Prince for you because I thought, are you a pirate?
No, I was a pirate.
Oh, okay, so other way around. See, we were a pirate, but I was like, is this nigga dressed as Prince?
Yeah, I was a pirate, and then this was like the service awards or whatever, and then it was like the theme was like, you're on a ship or whatever. That was like the theme of the joint, and then I just walked around and like messed with people for the day or whatever, and got to troll all day. I was like, this is a perfect job for me. So,
wow.
But yeah, guess we can wrap this thing up.
All right, thanks for listening, y'all. If you are watching from the stream, be sure to go to the show notes on the podcast, and you can go to our red circle link there and donate. And be sure to listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keeping It Strong Style, All Things Elite, Imps WWE Adventure, Russell R. Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Why do I keep fucking this up? I'm literally reading the prompt, and I always mess up Trish and Sarah. Please forgive me, Trish and Sarah.
Had a great discussion with them. Had a great time.
Did you discuss how I fuck up the read for their podcast name every single week?
I did not. Okay. Bring that one up. But
they have more reason to be mad at me than Tunnel Talk. With Tunnel Talk, they'd be like, "Hey man, y'all are too damn horny. Y'all need to calm the fuck down."
But yeah, so check that show out. I had a great time doing it, and spirited and pertinent conversation, I think, around the temperature of the wrestling business. Yeah.
That's it, y'all. Thanks for listening. Later.
Peace.